Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Having some technical difficulties earlier, but we have fixed it because God is good. I am here to discuss. Consider yourself lucky. I almost showed up as a TikTok lion, but here I am. Thank you, Brittany. I'd love to show my face, but I, not to get TMI, but I just like rolled out of bed. I've been sleeping probably 48 hours on and off. Something's very wrong with me. God wants me to rest for some reason. But anyway, I'm here for you because we finally got a hold of the incident report, which actually has a lot of, you'd think it would answer a lot of questions, but all it does is add more questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe it to you, and then I'm going to try to put up a video of it so you can read it. But I just want to let you know, tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube will be, I think it's called Evil CJ's Crime and Investigations. He and Veronica Adams will be going over this tonight, so please check it out. They will be breaking down the accident and the incident report, but I am here to discuss it with you, to give you a brief indication of what the police or Highway Patrol in North Carolina are saying about what had happened on March 14th, 7:30 p.m. Now, car number one is Mr. Winston James, rather. A car accident, yes, it is. A Johnnie Jacobs, the fisherman, was in a car accident. He was killed in a car accident March 14th, I think it was 2 Fridays ago, on 7:30 p.m. in Robeson County, South Robeson County. As the diagram explains, Johnnie was he was going east. No, let me not go by my own memory. Let me go by what the incident report itself says. So, that's right. I was right. I was correct. Johnnie was going eastbound. The other vehicle, Mr. James, was going north. He was northbound. Johnnie was doing approximately 50 miles an hour. The other car was doing 55. The other vehicle did not stop at the stop sign, and so he had hit Johnnie Jacobs' vehicle. Johnnie Jacobs' vehicle was a 2005 full-size Chevy Integron, it's called, pickup truck. But Johnnie was notorious for not wearing a seatbelt. It seemed to have been known. That's kind of a rumor. I've heard it on TikTok from some people that was just how Johnnie was. He didn't wear a seatbelt. And so he was struck, not T-boned. I know that's been going around a lot. That is not what happened. He was hit in the front quadrant of the vehicle, very, very front. Almost looks like closest to the bumper. And but you have to understand, if one is going 50, another one's going 55, the impact, according to, and I went to AI, I said, if one car is going east, the other one's going north, one's doing 50, one's doing 55, what is the impact speeds? Impact speeds is 74.33 miles per hour. That's a pretty rough impact. That is a violent impact. And if you're not wearing a belt, which Johnnie wasn't, and he was hit on the passenger side, he's going to be thrown in the other direction, which is exactly what happened. Upon impact, Johnnie was ejected. And then both cars came to a rest. Johnnie's about 71 feet and the other about 90 feet from the actual impact, in like a ditch. Now it says here that Johnnie was taken to, let me go back to that part of the incident report. So there is a place. Okay, so both were picked up by Robeson County EMS. Johnnie was taken to UNC Health Southeastern in Lumberton, which is probably where if they did any toxicology or if they did any kind of autopsy, it's probably where it would have happened. And the other driver, Mr. James, Winston James, was sent to McLeod McLeod, McLeod Regional Medical Center in Florence, South Carolina. Okay. Mr. James was driving a 2006 E-Class Mercedes-Benz four-door. Yes, I know we're all going, was it white? No, it was not. It was medium to dark gray. I went looking for the same thing you guys did. And I thought the same thing. However, I do find it very interesting. So I got my tinfoil hat on now. That there was very high visibility. There was no bad weather. It's 7:30 at night. So it's not midnight. It's not super dark. And, you know, at this time of the year, I don't even think it's that dark at all. It's dusk, or making its way to dusk. At least in Georgia it is. So visibility was very good. And even at 55, and the stop sign was erect. There was nothing wrong with the stop sign. Nothing was obstructing the stop sign. So what's the deal? Now, I don't know if they probably did a toxicology, I'm assuming, on Mr. James. And that will tell us if he was under any kind of, you know, substance. Now, the only charges pending, people are getting this wrong in their reports. There's a pending charge, and he goes to court in July, and that's when we will find out what the actual charges and what he'll be sentenced with. As at the moment is misdemeanor. Now people go, oh my gosh, misdemeanor. Well, in North Carolina, and in this sense, it is a homicide involved, and he is found at fault because he went through the stop sign. He also is the one who hit Johnnie Jacobs, and it was not a T-bone, but he did hit him, causing him to be ejected and ultimately died from that accident. It's 150 days in jail. Now that's where it stands now. We don't know what it's going to be later, and it probably will go up if we're dealing with a real accident. If we happen to be dealing with something else that was done on purpose, we probably will only see it stay at misdemeanor. Now, you know, again, I told you I was wearing my tinfoil hat. You know where I'm going with this. And anything is possible. Remember NHASH? We brought that up before in past lives. Well, there you go. And all these other celebrity accidents that have happened. And it's, you know, we don't have a government that's fully transparent as of yet. So these kinds of things can happen. He is a witness. He has been questioned by the feds. Why wouldn't he be? He would be one of the first. Why would the feds go around questioning all these other people and not the guy who found her stuff and heard her allegedly, right? So, not buying it. And okay, I hate to speak ill of people who've passed, but let's be real. He hasn't been honest in every one of his interviews. And again, I don't know if he did that out of fear or if he did that because he was being told what to say. I don't know. It's not as if John Paul keeps his story straight either. So that's the case of what's going on with Johnnie Jacobs. And it's just a very sad thing. Now, think of it this way. If the man would have been coming from, I'm talking about Mr. James, if he would have been coming from the west, he was going west to east, he was going east to west, he would have hit Johnnie on the driver's side. And even at that impact, he may not have been flung or ejected from the vehicle. But if you're hitting on the passenger side, you can almost guarantee he will. You say, well, why would you come to that conclusion, Ann? Because at 74 miles an hour impact from the passenger side, the driver's not wearing a belt. Where else is he going to go? But if you're coming from the driver's side at that impact, there's maybe a 50-60% chance he's ejected. He might also be thrown inside the vehicle, which would also cause, quite a bit of injury, if not death, in result. But this, you could definitely guarantee, would eject him and would cause very bad bodily injury or death. If you were looking to do this on purpose. That's why my tinfoil hat's still on. That's why I'm saying that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a separate video. And on that video, we'll have the actual incident report. I'm going to try to magnify the diagram where you will see how the officers show that Mr. James hit him. I mean, it looks like he's literally, and let me just tell you what part of Mr. James's car. So it's the very front driver's side corner of Mr. James's car, hitting the very front. So it's almost like his headlight area, Mr. James's headlight, is hitting the very front quadrant closest to the bumper of Johnnie Jacobs. Okay? Not even close to being a T-bone. So that's why I said I'm going to try to do what I can to magnify this and then put it into a video so you guys can see it. You're going to have to stop the video and just really look at it. I'll try to make it as clear as I can. Just remember this. The car that's coming from top to bottom is Johnnie. The one that's going from left to right is Mr. James. If you can remember that, you'll know what you'll be looking at. The number one car is Mr. James. The number two car is Johnnie. And that's because the number one car is always found to be the guilty party. And so they are saying in this, of course, naturally, Johnnie had the right of way. Mr. James did not. So because he did not, he failed to yield at the stop sign. This is why this happened. So there's so many other things I could say about this, but I'm, because of the season that we're in, and we could bring God into this. And I'm sure God has a hand in this somewhere, somehow. And we will find out eventually, when he's ready to tell us what his part is in this. And what I mean is not that he did this to Johnnie, but to allow something like this to happen. Something's going to be exposed from it. One way or another, something will be exposed. So I believe that. Now, just real quick, and I know I didn't put it in the title, I want to bring up Chris Skinner. So I had brought up earlier, last week actually, that they found new evidence. Okay. Now I feel very bad for the family. Let me start off with that. However, someone had said that the family found new evidence. And in the same breath, then made a video asking, the family's asking for if any evidence is out there to show what happened to him on that morning, please send it to this email. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So if you have new evidence, why are you asking for people for their evidence? I just don't understand. However, if you are out there and you're a neighbor or you know something, please step forward, because there's people's lives involved here and there's children involved. So if it were you or your family, you would want people to do the same for you. You've sat quiet long enough. Your silence is just as bad as the actual act. So if something very bad has happened to Mr. Skinner and you know about it, or even Mica, and you know about it, and you're sitting there in fear, for whatever reason, or you're uncomfortable, you don't want to confront, just remember, if this were you in their position, wouldn't you want somebody to speak up for you? Or would you just want your justice to be swept under the rug so other people are not made uncomfortable? Now, this is not to a victim. I'm not saying that to a victim. If you've been victimized, you've been through enough. I'm talking about people who've witnessed and have knowledge. And if you're covering up for somebody, you're going to be just as, let me just talk to you about covering up. So there was a case, and it made it to court in the beginning of 2024. And it was Jennifer Dulos, D-U-L-O-S. And if any of you remember that story, this was a mother of 5 from Connecticut who they've yet to find her body. Okay. And her estranged husband and girlfriend were found on video getting rid of her clothing. They were driving through Hartford, Connecticut, just throwing out her clothing in different receptacles. And because of that, They were both being indicted. Well, the husband, being the coward that he is, and most murderers are, took his own life. He unalived himself. And so he left the girlfriend holding the bag, literally. And the girlfriend, who covered up, she didn't do it herself, but she covered up, ended up in prison. Let me repeat that one more time. The girlfriend covered it up, and she ended up in prison. So if you think by covering up somebody's criminal activities, nothing's going to happen to you, you are lying to yourself. Just saying. And in this case, when we go back to John Paul Miller, if you are covering up, if you know what he's doing and you are not helping the authorities, then you're just as culpable. You are just as guilty as he is. Just so you know. And especially in the eyes of God, you are. And you will pay. Just like that woman did. I can't remember her name, the girlfriend. But I went through that whole case, and it was just blaring that she covered up for him. For whatever her reasons are, they were not good enough to take another life. So there's my little rant at the end. But anyway, yeah, tinfoil hat's still on. I look at this and say, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy for 1 minute that this guy at 7:30 at night couldn't see what he was doing, where he was going, couldn't see the stop sign, couldn't stop in time, smacks into the front of Johnny's car. Yeah, no man is worth going to prison for you, but some women are that stupid. I agree with you, though, Just Robin. I just don't buy for 1 minute that he, and then taps him in the front. Here's the thing, okay? Okay, granted, Johnny was not wearing a seatbelt, allegedly. I don't see it in the report, but okay, we'll go according to that because, for funsies, that's what they like to throw out there. Nothing in the report, by the way, but he was ejected. And let me just add to this story. I still cannot get a hold of the dash cam, so I don't know what they're trying to cover up. If you're willing to give us the incident report and give us a diagram of what happened, why can't we have the dash cam? What are you hiding? They're always hiding something. Anyhow, going back to the story, if it would have been raining, if it would have been at midnight, if somebody would have had car trouble, if this was an old car that the headlights weren't working very well, whatever, then I'd say, okay. But according to the incident report, there was no malfunctions to either car for this to have happened. Now, I understand it's a dark road. It's in the country, yada, yada, yada. I have country roads here. And when you're coming up onto a stop sign. You know why? Because when headlights hit a stop sign, it lights up. That's the kind of material the stop sign and most signs are made out of, that they reflect. And so there's no way, okay, if you look at the road itself, and they have it on the diagram, he's coming straight forward. It's not like he's making curves and stuff like that. Okay, now it curves a little bit back away. A little bit. You're still going to be able to see the stop sign. There's no big brush going on. There's no big trees. There's no obstruction. So you see what's up ahead. And yet he kept going. Why? Around that area, there's a house on the corner, and then I think there's a church. And so the grass is not very high. So it doesn't make any sense. Accidentally stepped on the gas instead of the brake, or foot slipped off the brake onto the gas pedal. If you're doing 55, most likely your foot is already on the gas pedal, right? So if that's the case, what other pedal would you be going for? And a Mercedes-Benz, I don't think it was a stick. I don't think it was a manual. So all that's left is the brake. I don't even know if there was any braking done. See, that's where the dash cam would have helped us see what was really going on. Now some of the people in the area, I think I had read that they said they did see a helicopter come down And that was the life flight. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, that's not what the incident report says. See, this is why you can't listen to people and rumors. This is where you get bullcrap stories, because they're saying for both, it was an EMS ambulance. They were both taken by ambulance. Really? Now, what's funny is it was very, very south, I think Robeson area, Robinson, whatever the hell. Very close to the South Carolina, North Carolina border. So maybe there was a trauma center, and that's the one that was in Florence. This is where Florence again. Remember, that's where the airplane kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Florence. There's something about Florence, okay? You put all of that into perspective. What's going on with the Chris Skinner case being reopened and this happening to Johnnie Jacobs. And for everybody here on YouTube, because you're not aware of what's going on TikTok, the Flying Monkeys 1.0 and the Flying Monkeys 2.0 have seemed to have all come to the forefront. We've got Jesus J back into the picture. He's come out of nowhere. There you are. I did leave a message, Rando. I swear I did, which I find odd. True Crime Radio is MIA, but that doesn't mean anything. And we've got other, Flying Monkeys that are still hanging around, showing up, getting involved, whatever, mostly on TikTok, because this is where people, I think, tolerate them the most, not really on YouTube or anywhere else, where the audience might be a little more mature and prefer the truth. They don't want drama. People thrive on drama on TikTok, like gas to a car. It's just the most amazing thing. So you can't. Yeah, that's why Rando says that's why I'm here. Had to do something. Well, because their job is to distract. When something happens that's important and they want you to take your eyes off of what's happening, they'll come out of nowhere. Okay, same thing happened with when those declassified things came out last week and the week before. First it was Hunter's laptop, and then came out the JFK files. And there's more to come out. So the bad guys, to take your eyes off of it, they give you something to put your eyes on. And what was that? The guy outside the CIA headquarters. And everybody made a woo, and they're like, look here, and they're reporting on it. And I'm going, stop looking over there, idiots. Look over here where everything is coming out. The truth is coming out. And I got to tell you, if you're not on Twitter X, you are missing out. You are absolutely missing out on the loads of stuff that's coming out of that JFK files. And I can't keep up. So I'm just putting that stuff up. I'm updating only on Twitter X right now. I can't keep up there. I'd be sitting here live all day long every day to be able to update you guys here. So these platforms are for free. It doesn't take much. You don't have to chat with anybody. You don't have to be bothered by a flying monkey. All you got to do is go on there and read and keep up. And we are the same on there. Created a Class magazine. And we're also at Electosunis Music. We're both on both accounts. And both accounts keep it all. Well, listen, if you're running out of space, get rid of some other crap then. This is worth it. X is worth it. Because that's where you're going to get your news. If you don't want to do that, then I suggest that you go to, if you're already on Rumble and you have Rumble, of course, keep up with us. Naturally, we do a lot of documentary material. And we also do, lives where we talk about it. But if you want news regularly, look for "and we know." Just like the beginning of Romans 8:28, and A-N-D, we know. And you will find continuous truth news. And it's all from mainstream, believe it or not, but because mainstream will talk about it for 30 seconds, maybe not even 15 seconds, and then they don't bring it up again. Only the stuff that they want to push, their propaganda, is what you'll hear over and over and over and over and over again. So if you want the actual truth, and you want to know what's really going on, yeah, he's the one to go to, and we know. Anyhow, tonight, as I said earlier, Veronica Adams, or Veronica Jokestar, however you know her, will be on Evil, Eville, CJ's Crime and Investigations, which was also known as CJ's Crime Concepts, on YouTube, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will be talking about the Johnnie Jacobs car accident and the incident report that just came out this morning. Please join them. Please watch. I don't have other stuff to get rid of, the pics of kids. That's all right, Rando. Just, go to And We Know, and you'll be able to keep up. It's really too bad that you can't get on Twitter, because that's the place to go for constant updates. And that's what's been happening to me with the past 48 to 72 hours. I update all the news that's going on, and then I pass out for like 2 or 3 hours. I get back up, and there's more news to update. So I update both pages on X, and then I pass out again. I seem to stay awake long enough to do anything else. So, but here I am. I made sure that I came in front of you guys today. And like I said, I'm going to make a video where you can actually see the incident report for yourself. I'm going to try to zoom in on the diagram. And again, Johnny's car is number 2, and Mr. James's car is number 1. The number 2 car will be at the top of the page. Number 2 car will be to the left. So I just wanted to update you guys on that. And any more updates that come up, I will try my best to go live. And until I see you guys again, thank you for joining me this afternoon. Thank you for being patient with me on my technical difficulties. Please stay safe. And as always, God bless.